He didn't want the pictures to go out of the house. The albums never went out of the house. The pictures never went out of the house.
Until now, 80 years later. As World War II drew to a close, U.S. Army photographer Jerry Franklin captured these gut-wrenching images. Jerry passed away in 1996, but his wife Beatrice is only now sharing them with the world.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable what man does to man.
They are photos that had been buried, tucked away in these albums in Lawrence, Long Island since the 1940s, a dark part of Jerry's memories that he wanted to forget.
That experience for him was always with him, always. We never talked about it because he didn't want to talk about it.
He traveled with the Army to North Africa and then to Europe.
21-year-old soldier.
Where he was an eyewitness to the worst of humanity. His camera captured the liberation of Nazi concentration camps, including Dachau. The cruelty in these images impossible for Beatrice to comprehend.
I can't fathom how people can become that way.
In some of these photos, corpses are piled high. Millions of innocent victims slaughtered.
This is Dachau. All of this is taken in Dachau.
This graphic documentation cannot be erased from one's mind, but Beatrice understands that its preservation is vital.
Especially the pictures of war, what happens to people in wartime. I think it's important for people to see that it's better to make friends than to make enemies.
This spunky and passionate 99-year-old met the love of her life through a mutual friend when she was just 21 years old and Jerry was 23.
I met him. Something went off in my head that said, "You're going to marry him." And I thought that was the craziest idea that I ever heard because I had only spoken to him for 5 minutes and that was it. But he felt the same way. He came back the next day.
A beautiful love story that transpired into a long and happy marriage, bearing 3 children, 3 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. Despite Jerry's insistence on keeping these horrific memories in the shadows of his mind, Beatrice feels certain he'd be proud of her today.
And he'd be so happy that he would be bursting at the seams. And when I do this, I always think of his being up there looking down at me, because I know he would be thrilled with it.
She carries forward her husband's talent and strength, page by page, photo by photo, in an effort to make sure the world never forgets. In Lawrence, Long Island, Dana Arshin, HMTC.